Howdy everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Average Joe, the series where I'll be taking a look at a vehicle and telling you whether or not I believe it's worth the average player's time, or in this case, their money. This is also the first video in a line of videos coming out this week that is dedicated to the upcoming sale, and specifically American vehicles in that upcoming sale. In this episode, we'll be covering the American F-5C, a plane that is just a little bit popular. Its popularity doesn't come without reason, though. With it being a 10.3 Rank 7 premium fighter jet, it is very capable in just about anything you could possibly want to do with it. With all that out of the way, let's jump right into what this plane is capable of pulling off, starting off with its weapons. Starting off with the primary weapon, the F-5C is mounted with two M39A2 20mm cannons. These things are incredible, having very good damage, very good muzzle velocity, a very generous ammo capacity of 560 rounds. These guns will basically do anything you need them to and more. In my opinion, they're actually the easiest guns to use in the game, being very forgiving and very deadly. You'll see quite a lot in the background footage that these guns very consistently 1-2 shot everyone that I fire at, and if it doesn't, it cripples them with a glancing blow. It's really impressive how these guns, with such little effort, can absolutely destroy any enemy that gets in your way. And the high ammo capacity really allows you to just stay in the fight for much longer than a lot of other aircraft would be able to. And even if you do have to go RTB, you're still able to go for some ground targets or air targets on your way back, because I guarantee you 9 times out of 10, you're going to run out of fuel before you run out of ammo in this thing. And moving on to secondary weapons, you have a very wide array of them, having everything from bullpup missiles to large bombs to dumb bombs, small bombs, napalm bombs. You have just about everything that you can think of when it comes down to bombs other than directly guided bombs. It's a pretty decent assortment, even though in most cases I don't think you should bring any. It's still nice to have options. But unfortunately, when it comes down to missiles, this is where the F-5C is relatively lacking. It only can carry AIM-9Es, which are notorious for being some of the worst missiles in the game, only being effective within about 2 kilometers, and only being able to pull about 10 Gs. Now, fortunately, you'll see in the background footage, there is a way to make them work because they are uncaged missiles. You can manually push them in the direction by aiming your nose in the path that the enemy is going to take, and so long as the missile doesn't lose lock and they don't flare, it typically will still hit. This just requires a lot more effort, however, than a missile like, say, the AIM-9J, so if you're not exactly experienced with this missile, it can be extremely painful to use. Now, fortunately, this missile actually has one very weird advantage over a lot of other missiles, and that is that a lot of people underestimate it, because usually you can just outturn the thing or outrange the thing. Most people don't really pay attention to it even. But like I said, if you know how to use it, you can guide it yourself directly to the target. And if you do this, a lot of people aren't going to expect it, and they'll just kind of ignore the thing and then just pop. There you go. Free kill. With weapons out of the way, let's talk about the airframe itself, because the airframe is very notorious for a lot of different things. However, let's start off with something that it's not really known for, its speed. The top speed of the F-5C is really only around Mach 1 before the engine no longer puts out enough thrust to accelerate you any further near sea level. This, however, is not how you're going to be winning most of your fights. Instead, you're going to be winning most of your fights based off of your energy retention, which is honestly some of the best in the entire game. Just make sure that you don't drop your speed too much though, because your low speed acceleration is honestly abysmal. But your high-speed acceleration around 700-800 kilometers an hour is extremely good. You will immediately start getting back up over 1,000 so long as you stay around that speed. And with that, your nose authority at basically all speeds is very good, being able to get your gun on target basically no matter how fast you're going, which is always a welcome bonus. Now, one of the things that the F-5C is notorious for is its damage model, being extremely tanky, and with that, you're extremely small too, so you're not going to get hit all that often anyway, but when you do, unless it sets you on fire or one-shots you, you're probably not going to actually feel any of this damage. You are nearly indestructible unless you get set on fire or your pilot gets sniped. Now, the other notorious feature is something I already mentioned a little bit, but it is your energy retention. You are able to pull basically every aircraft short of a MiG-23 into a vertical, and there is next to nothing they can do so long as you play your cards right. Combine all that with a very good turning rate, and you have what is probably the best dogfighter at 10.3 short of the Crusader in the entire game. Unfortunately, one of the biggest threats, though, for the F-5C is, well, the F-5C. The unfortunate truth is all of these advantages that you have are likely also going to be had by the enemy team because, well, top-tier air has boiled down to America versus America basically every game, and so both teams are made up almost entirely of F-5Cs every single game. Now, this does mean that every match is a level playing field, but at the same time, you can't use your energy retention when the exact same energy retention is had by everyone else in the lobby. You can't use your turn rate when everyone else has the same turn rate. All of these advantages that you have go out the window if you're fighting the exact same aircraft that you're in. At that point, it boils down to who's the better pilot or who has more teammates around them. And unfortunately, with the upcoming sale on premium pack vehicles, which I believe is in November, it's only going to get worse, and really when the sale starts until a few, weeks after it, basically every game at this battle rating is going to boil down to F-5C versus F-5C. Now, if you can get good with the F-5C, you're going to be able to stomp every player that is in this thing, because most people in the F-5C are, well, not the best players. I'm not gonna lie, this thing is the most purchased premium to my knowledge, and it really shows. Because you're going to fight maybe 1 in every 20 F-5Cs that actually knows what they're doing. The rest of them are all but free kills, if it wasn't for the fact that, well, the thing basically plays for you. The guns being incredible, the maneuverability being great, the energy retention being some of the best in the entire game. Even if you're the better player, the F-5C can still just beat you. So with all of that out of the way, let's talk about if this vehicle is worth your money. But before that, we have to talk about how much it actually costs. So, for $65, you're going to get the Rank 7 F-5C, 2,000 Golden Eagles, and 15 days of premium time. So with that out of the way, do I believe that this vehicle is worth it? For $65? No. It is honestly one of the closest that you'll ever get to that, but no, it's not worth $65. However, this is one of the vehicles that during basically any sale, if you want to grind out the American tech tree, it is easily worth it. With the upcoming sale in November, it is basically a must-have if you want to do the American tech tree all the way to top tier without just playing through it bare bones. If you want a premium vehicle for the American aviation line, this thing will treat you right, it will serve you well. It is definitely worth it during a sale, but without the sale, I'd say it's not really worth it. With that out of the way, I just want to thank you all for watching. Please let me know in the comments if there's any vehicles you want to see in the future. Have a good one.